Good morning, everyone. So great to see all of you. Welcome to the 2025 New Deal Forum Ideas Summit. I'm Jonathan Dworkin, Executive Director of the New Deal Forum. We are about to get started. We're going to be hearing from the longest tenured New Deal leader active from Georgia, Scott Holcomb, in just a moment to really kick us off. But first, we have a message from the Mayor of Atlanta, Andre Dickens, who wanted to be with us today. Something came up, but he has sent us a message to play to welcome us to Atlanta and start us off. So thank you all for being here and looking forward to a great next 24 hours.
Hello, everyone. This is Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens. I'm happy to greet you during the 2025 New Deal Forum Ideas Summit. This gathering of state and local leaders is crucial as we navigate the new reality of our nation's ever-evolving political landscape. Here in Atlanta, we draw circles and not lines. We serve everyone, no matter their background, where they come from, or who they vote for. My administration is working to push forward inclusive and innovative policies that reflect the voices and hopes of our diverse communities. I always say that Atlanta is a group project. We're working side by side to tackle the challenges our communities face, like the national affordable housing crisis. And with the help of our dedicated public, private, and nonprofit partners, we're on track to exceed our goal of building or preserving 20,000 affordable housing units by 2030. We've also helped fund early childhood education to the tune of more than $20 million. We're also using technology in all areas of our government to enhance our service delivery strategy on behalf of the people of this great city, including in monitoring the city's water supply. And we are thriving in Atlanta because we draw circles. For all of us to move forward, we must overlook our differences and recognize the value we provide to our residents and visitors. Effective and ethical government is built on compromise. Whether you're from a big city or a small town, we all want better lives for ourselves and our children. During this summit, I hope you find common ground to develop forward-thinking solutions for the people of your communities. Thank you again for choosing Atlanta to host this summit, and I look forward to drawing circles with all of you in the future.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Holcomb, and I serve in the Georgia House of Representatives. I have been a New Deal leader since 2013. And on behalf of my fellow New Deal leaders and alumni, we are very happy to welcome you to Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you. Our state and our capital city have a long and deep history. We are a work in progress. Georgia is a battleground state that will play a pivotal role in the direction of our country for years to come. New Deal leaders in Georgia have worked tirelessly to get us to this point, and we're not done yet. Our capital city, aware of its history, has a wonderful motto, resurgence, which means to rise again. That's what our city has done and will continue to do. We are rising again under the leadership of Mayor Andre Dickens, and I'm thrilled that he welcomed us in his video moments ago. I make it a priority to attend the Ideas Summits and the national conferences because after each convening, I leave energized and with new ideas and friends from across the country. New Deal exists to help those of us who work in state and local government because what we do matters. Our policies, our leadership, and our service have ripple effects that stretch far beyond our jurisdictions. I want to extend my sincere thanks to the New Deal team for your hard work organizing this summit. We are all enormously grateful that you brought us together. And we are gathering in an important place at an important time. Georgia has endured and overcome demagogues, and we've also benefited from inspiring and visionary leaders who changed the world for the better. Through their work, they bent the moral arc of the universe toward justice. We meet at a moment when the idea of America, who we are, and what we stand for is being tested again from forces both within and beyond our borders. Lately, I've been doing some reading about the periods leading up to the world wars of the 20th century. Now, don't read too much into that. I'm a former Army officer, and those eras are periods that I typically study. And there are some lessons, though, that are still relevant to today. One such lesson for World War I is the danger of miscalculation. Many believed at that time that free trade would prevent conflict, that nations that traded and were economically entwined would never go to war, but they did. Leaders also assumed before World War I that it would be brief. Every major country that was involved thought the war would last only weeks. Today, we can hear echoes of that hubris and hollow promises to end the war in Ukraine in one day, and that trade wars will be simple and easily solved. And another lesson that went unheeded is that leaders failed to anticipate political backlash. Thankfully, a backlash against the current administration is growing. We see it in our communities, and I trust you see it in yours. As Mark Twain said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. I say this as we operate under federal administration that generally lacks a historical perspective, and on the few occasions when it has one, it draws the wrong conclusions. And while the administration claims to want peace through strength, it has adopted policies that increase uncertainty and heighten the chances of conflict, neither of which promotes economic growth and opportunity, which we all care about. So where does that leave us? This is undoubtedly a challenging moment, but history is not inevitable. We shape it together through the ideas we bring forward and the choices we make, guided by our values. As a former of Atlanta used to say, we are in the future business. No organization guides discussions about our future better than New Deal. We learn from each other, exchange best practices, and then we take what we learn and put it into action in our respective communities and states. We also encourage each other, cheer for each other, and we want to see the people that we serve succeed as well as each other. And no one cheers on our successes more than New Deal's leader, Debbie Cox Bultan. Debbie has Debbie has worked for decades to make government more effective and responsive at every level. She's tireless in her efforts to help each of us become better leaders. She loves all of us, despite our idiosyncrasies, and we love her right back. Debbie's energy is contagious, her optimism is unwavering, and her commitment to public service is unmatched. Spend time with her and you will feel better. It is my great honor to introduce to you New Deal CEO, Debbie Cox Bultan.
Cry before I get up there. That's terrible. But I do want to say it is true. I love all of you so much. So thank you, Scott. I want to just say about Scott Holcomb, who has been one of the New Deal leaders, as he said, for so long. He embodies what, to me, it means to be a good leader in these days, right? His service, not just in the military, but then in the legislature, is born from a place of his values, from grace, openness about working across the aisle, and he does it all with such humor and he's just the best. So thank you so much, Scott. So welcome, everyone, again. I am so very grateful to be here with all of you. Grateful to be able to be with this wonderful, inspiring, and very important community at this time. I think that a lot of us were together last at our conference in Washington, D.C., 2 weeks after the election. And I think we were talking about what happened and where we go from here, and we were gearing up for what we knew was going to be a very chaotic and disturbing 4 years. But I actually do not think that any of us in that moment could have predicted just how quickly and overwhelming the all-out assault on the very foundations of our country were going to be. the blatant disregard for due process and rule of law, the chaotic and non-strategic dismantling of our federal government, and vilifying public servants, cruelty symbolized by a billionaire with a chainsaw, and an unnecessary trade war with allies and enemies alike, plunging our economy into uncertainty and free fall. In just over 100 days, this administration has made every person in America less secure, less free, and less prosperous. So there is no doubt that these are dark and uncertain times. But I often have to remind myself, as Scott was saying too, that our country has been through these times before. It's fitting that we're here in Atlanta, a city that's been witness to so many of our monumental experiences as a country over the last 250 years, from the Civil War to civil rights. Of course, now we have the benefit of knowing how those turned out. I think we all know that we are in a monumentous time for the United States, and of course we're living it and do not know how the story will unfold. But as we gather today here, 100 days after the start of this administration, I think we're more clear-eyed about the task in front of us. And as always, state and local leaders, you all are on the front lines of where we're gonna go. People are looking to you for answers. They're looking for you for protection. And frankly, they're looking for you to step in to pick up the pieces of so much that is unraveling. And that is a lot. So I want to say that, as always, we see you, we understand what you're having to face, and we're here for you. As I think about the critical task that's here before all of us, I believe there's 3 things we must do. First, I think we have to speak up and speak out. I agree with those who say we just have to fight. I'm grateful for the attorneys general and the city attorneys who are challenging the administration's unlawfulness in court. I'm grateful that people are showing up at rallies in purple, blue, and red cities and states across the country, protesting and demanding change. But as we fight, I think we need to think about a couple things. First, I think we need to make room for all people who want to join us in this fight. This is not a time to be, I told you soing, or how did you let this happen, or pointing fingers. It's not a time to stay in our own echo chambers and see who can yell the loudest and preach to the choir. We have to welcome everyone who's concerned about the direction of this country into this fight, whether or not we agree with them on everything. No litmus tests, a big tent. Which leads me to another point. I also don't think there's one right way to fight. I think this is a conversation happening on our side of the aisle right now, and I just want you to know that these are unprecedented times, and I think we need to give each other a lot of grace. What we need right now is not a right answer, because there isn't one. What we need is authentic voices. We each need to be willing to speak our minds and our hearts, even if it's not in lockstep with everyone around us. People respond to authenticity. That's part of the reason we're in this mess that we're in. And as our fearless coach, Ian Kahn, likes to tell us, we need to be ourselves because everybody else is taken. So I know you are already doing that. You're showing up every day. You are fighting for your constituents. You're engaging your communities. You're calling out injustices. And you're trying to solve problems in any way that you can. And if anybody needs to hear this, I just want to tell you, don't let anyone tell you that you're doing it wrong. You just keep showing up. So secondly, while opposition is necessary, it's not sufficient. The November election showed us that people are not satisfied with the status quo and the direction of this country. They did not believe the government was delivering for them. So we can't only just be opposed to what's happening. We've got to simultaneously offer a message and ideas that can both attract and deliver for a majority of Americans. We need to really listen to those who say that the cost of living is too high and we have to do something about it. We have to meet people where they are, people who live and work differently than we are, and find out what they need and help them. And for those of us who believe that government can do the good things, we have to acknowledge that government is often, too often, not working and be willing to do things differently. We have to just stop defending programs that are not delivering just because they worked in the past or because we thought of them. We have to tell our friends no sometimes. And we have to shift our focus away from inputs, how many bills we're passing, how much money we're spending, to laser focus on outcomes and results. Which leads me to my third and final point. We have to understand that what comes next, whatever that's going to be, is not going back to what things were. It was not working for too many people. We were talking about this coming out of COVID, if you remember. the bright spotlight that had been shown on the inequities in our economy, that too many people didn't have access to or had barriers to sufficient resources and opportunities. So we know there is still much work to do. So while we fight and help support people through this time, let's also keep an eye forward on rebuilding to a way that works better. Over the next 24 hours, we're going to be rolling up our sleeves and talking about exactly how to make government work better. We're going to be getting real about what happening with tariffs, public health, our democracy, and more, and strategies for responses. And we'll be talking about public service, how we can support those of you in elected office, and how we can lead differently, really listening and bringing people together. The good news, and the reason I continue to have so much hope and confidence that things are going to be all right, is because of this community. I know that the people in this room have the tenacity, the resilience, the creativity, and the courage that we need at this moment, and that together we are going to have a brighter future. Thank you all for being here.